Going to give you guys a little bit of an update on Jonnu Smith. Things have changed a little bit. And Booger McFarland had something to say about Mike McDaniel that I find very interesting. What is up, Finn fans? We two for today. Minicamp, it's the last day of minicamp, so I'll give you guys the video later today, kind of breaking it down and what happened. Hopefully there is a minicamp today. If not, then this is your video for today. But I found a NFL Live clip that I thought was interesting, a little bit of an update on the whole Jonnu Smith and Jalen Ramsey situation. And like I said, Booger McFarland said something very interesting about the Dolphins offense and how it was lackluster last year, and everyone wants to blame Tua of this, Tua of that, Tua of this. We're going to talk about it. So I'm going to hit that intro again. I'm just kidding. So we're going to start with the update from Jonnu. So this is from NFL Live. I'm not going to show it because we all know what happens sometimes if I show it. YouTube's been a stickler with things, so we're just going to listen to it.
NFL Live, Mike McDaniel was asked if he feels like it's taken longer than expected to get a Jalen Ramsey trade done. Here's what he said.
I don't give a about what I feel. I don't even really go down that road of how do I feel about it. My job is to react and control my controllables and make sure that people are moving in one direction appropriately. Business in off seasons allows you to speak to your team about how the focus of noise is a constant battle that if you're successful, you have to win.
Okay, Adam, what should we know about Ramsey and Jonnu Smith's absences today?
Well, Jalen Ramsey is going to be traded at some point in time. He already has said his goodbye to the organization. And Jonnu Smith also is not at mandatory minicamp. The team has given him permission and excused him from attending so that it can go ahead and look for a trade partner. So we do believe that Jonnu wants a new contract, will be traded. There are two major question marks surrounding two players who were vital to this team last season.
Yeah, it does.
So Adam Schefter is saying that the Miami Dolphins have excused Jonnu Smith from mandatory minicamp, and that he has been given permission to seek a trade partner, which is very, very interesting. And now, obviously, with Jalen Ramsey, we have Jair Alexander out there now who's can be competing for who is going to get him and stuff like that. So it's gonna be very, very interesting to see how that's all going to go. And with Jonnu, hearing Adam Schefter say that the Dolphins, excused his absence from mandatory minicamp, which means he won't be fined, and that they gave him permission to seek a trade partner, they're not going to give him what he wants. And it seems more likely than not that they're going to trade him, which means we're going to be down a weapon, and that they're going to go in a different way, a different formation, a different style of offense maybe. And I don't know if they're going to go out and get another tight end. I don't know if there's going to be a trade compensation with the tight end. Supposedly, and I'll pull this up for you guys because I thought this was very interesting, that the Steelers are now kind of interested in Jalen Ramsey. So it's like 2-4. Is this going to be a package deal where they're going to send both of them to the Steelers and get something back? Or I'm trying to find the tweet because I thought that was incredibly interesting that they both are, the Dolphins were in talks with the Steelers and about Jonnu Smith. That started, ended. And now there is the possibility of Jalen Ramsey going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I can't find the tweet, so you're just gonna have to trust me, bro. So again, Washington, here it is. Jeez Louise. The Steelers have inquired about both Jair Alexander and Jalen Ramsey. I'm expecting the Steelers to acquire one of them. Omar is cooking, and then the Steelers symbol. So They obviously want to have a corner to pair with Porter Jr., Joey Porter Jr. So there's Jair Alexander, who, when he's healthy is a top corner. But that's the big question when he's healthy. And then you have, so one of them you don't have to trade for, the other one you do have to trade for, but the one you don't have to trade for is injured a lot. And the one you do have to trade for isn't injured a lot, but is a little older. So that's going to be interesting. And like I said, are they going to bundle them together, the Jonnu Smith and Jalen Ramsey, in a trade situation? And then there's also the whole talks about TJ Watt and his contract, and there's a lot of moves that the Steelers are doing, and it's interesting. It's just very interesting. But I think that the most interesting thing, and the one that I wanted to talk to you about, or one of the things I wanted to talk to you about in today's video, is the fact that they are essentially saying to Jonnu, that's fine, we're going to excuse your absence from mandatory minicamp, and we're going to let you go find a trade partner. Meaning, go find someone that wants you, and see if we can get something back, a fourth, whatever, a player, corner. So it's going to be interesting. So now we have 2 players on the trade block. Just fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. And like I said, this is from Booger McFarland. I think this is also on NFL Live. Kind of talking about the offense a little bit.
I remember when this offense first started, it was pace and space, and it was the ball getting out of Tua's hands really quick. It was Mike McDaniel. It was his zone running blocking scheme, and it was Waddle, and it was Tyreek Hill. This offense is not the same, and we can blame Tua and his availability or lack thereof. We can blame the offensive line, but I'm going to start at the top with Mike McDaniel, because we gave him a lot of the credit when this offense hit the scene. Boy, genius. He came out, and he was new, and he was innovative. Well, now that the league is starting to catch up to you, Coach McDaniel, what exactly are you going to do? Because this offense hasn't been the same. I think they got to become more physical. They need a bigger back in the backfield. Nothing against H-Hand, but I need some horsepower coming out of the backfield. And then, when all is said and done, can Tua Tagovailoa stay healthy, and can they get the football to Waddle and to Tyreek Hill and to the weapons on the offense? But make no mistake, it's not just Tua. Mike McDaniel has to become more innovative as a play caller and as a head coach.
100%. And, Tua obviously is going to get a lot of the blame because he is the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. The quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. But it's like Booger McFarland said, when he first came in, McDaniel, and we had the offense going, it was streamlining. And then in 2023, it was really rocking and going. And, then all of a sudden, people started to pick up on how to stop it. The motions weren't tricking anybody, and then you had the cover 2, and then the people in 2022, a lot of it had to do with the 49ers and the Chargers kind of stopping it. And it was a nice comeback in week 1 of 2023 when we beat the Chargers, and the offense went off, and Tua had a great game and made some really great throws in that game. But a lot of these defenses figured out how to stop it. And that is something that is very interesting. And this is now his 4th year. This is where, your job's on the line, McDaniel, and you need to figure out how to change things and how to disguise things. And, if it's too complicated for your receivers, which is something I hear constantly, the offense is complicated. The receivers take a hot minute to get it. And, sometimes the new people in this offense take a lot to get it. And, the verbiage is long, and then you have the motions, and then, you don't have enough time to get the plays in. And then all of a sudden, that needs to be fixed, because you got to allow your team and your quarterback and your center and your receivers to be able to read the defense. Because that's the thing that I think people don't realize or understand or recognize, that yes, obviously the quarterback needs to read the defense, figure out if it's a cover 2, recognize if the safety's coming down to make it a cover 1, or if there's a blitzer coming from this side to shift the offensive line, yada yada. Obviously the quarterback needs to do pre-snap and post-snap reads on the defense, because a lot can change. But also you got your center. Your center needs to be able to pinpoint motions and tell his offensive lineman. The receivers also, read the defense. So, the offense, and I talked about this at the end of last season, the offense needs to be tweaked a little bit, right? Take the strengths of your guys, but also don't make it too complicated that adjustments can't be made. Because for some reason, And I've seen it in live streams with the Dolphin Collective. I've seen it in other people's live streams and stuff. People saying Tua can't audible. Tua doesn't know how to audible. Those are the things that make me laugh, and I come off like a Tua in the ear or a Tua stan or whatever, because it's not true. If people say true things, I have nothing to say. Injury prone, inconsistent, he needs to get over the hump, all that stuff. I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. But to come out and say like, oh, he can't audible, he doesn't know how to audible, it's just factually false. That Ravens game week 2 where we had a crazy comeback, the comms weren't working. And the whole fourth quarter, Mike McDaniel and the team were saying that Tua was riffing. He was calling the plays in the huddle. You have a touchdown pass against New York Giants. He audibled that play. He changed the route of Tyreek Hill to throw that touchdown. So a lot of those notions that Tua can audible, he's not smart enough, he doesn't know how to, or he's not allowed, it's just false. Factually false. It could be proven false by just looking it up. So, this offense, again, it needs to be tweaked. And like Booger McFarland said, add those big backs. And I think they did in Madison and in Ollie Gordon, the second, third, and even with Jalen Wright. But Ollie Gordon, I'm very excited to see what that kid can do, because he's going to be something really good for us. But change that. And maybe that's why Jonnu Smith is on the trade block and why they don't want to pay him double what he's making now, around $8 million, because they might be going in a more physical route where they're like, all right, you want to go. We need blocking tight ends. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be intriguing. We'll see how this all plans out. If anything, I'll see you later today. If it's canceled, I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is the start of the dry period. So I'm looking at my list over here. I have 2 columns of just video ideas. So I will see you, if not later today, definitely tomorrow. I just booped the microphone with my nose. But comment below. Let me know what you guys think. I don't think I'm going to do a Q&A soon. And obviously I'm going to do live stream. So I'll let you know what video, but I'm going to ask you for questions for a Q&A. And I got the P.O. box. I just have to get it opened. I have to go bring a printout and my ID and stuff. So I got a P.O. box. So maybe I'll do, a mail opening where if you guys send me letters, I'll answer questions that way, or packages or whatever. So I got a lot planned for this off season. So subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you either later today or tomorrow. But like usual, stay classy. FN's up.